So I named the video "My Niche Hobby." Is it weird? Maybe. I maybe it is weird. I don't know. But I got other hobbies I could talk about too, and people probably consider more weird than that. I was really heavily into the Bible, but here lately I've been, and I feel bad about it. I've been kind of fading off from God's word, and just I don't mean to. It's kind of happened that way, but I just kind of in my heart, in my life, I just kind of feel like I need to get a little closer to the Lord, a lot closer to the Lord. And it's nothing. It's not of works. It's not of things like that. It's by faith. I just feel that I'm kind of making a gap, and the Lord's still there with me. He's going with me, but I feel like I'm making that gap. You know what I mean? But I'm always in His grace. I'm always in His love, no matter how many times I screw up on purpose or try not to, things like that. Because if I try not to and everything, I make it out of a work. And should we go on sinning that grace may abound? No, surely not. And even Romans 7 talks about that. But anyway, the niche. I don't know why I said niche, because I asked the thing, I said, what does niche mean? Is that small group of things, is a niche that you have, which is the French word niche and everything. I was going to put niche, my niche about things, but it sounded better whenever I said niche. So anyway, I had done a lot of videos on hearing protectors and stuff like that. I've done it on Bibles, I've done it on katanas, I've done it on some comic books at times, things like that. So I'm gonna keep on continuing doing that, and by God's grace, I'm going to get more back into His Word. I mean, I always got my Bible with me. I got actually two Bibles in the seat of my truck always, and everything. And so I like getting on here sometime and doing that kind of thing as well. But here lately, I've been kind of getting into things where I don't know. I just had gotten into well, it was something about Amy Bradley. I got back into that. I got out of it, got into something else. Got back into Amy Bradley, got out of it, got into something else. It's like I don't have enough time in the day to not to be interested in other things. I don't know. But I just find the older I get, it feels like the lonelier I get. You know what I mean? So it's just, who's this? So you to say to her, oh, hello, how you? So anyway, it's just one of those things. It just, hello, Chloe, how are you? And I just feel like sometimes I just need to kind of just, I would like to move on with somebody in my life, and kind of make friends with somebody, but that opportunity hasn't arose yet, but maybe it's me, maybe I don't know, but maybe it's just not the right time. But golly, I'm 54 years old. I just turned 54 a few weeks ago. And I'm not getting any younger. My eyes aren't the greatest. I could be getting glaucoma. I don't know for sure, but or something like that. I got to take this stuff from my eyes and all that fun stuff. But I can still see and all that stuff. I mean, but sometimes, like, especially a certain light hits my eye the right way, it's like a little brown spot there or something, a little faded spot. But there's pressure in my eyes, so I got to take drops and everything. And so, I got to go back on the 6th. Yeah, the 6th at 2 o'clock, and get them checked out and stuff. But I hope I don't go blind. Pray to God I don't. But I don't want to be somebody else's burden. That's one thing. But I don't. I haven't been to the doctor's office here. I got to go there probably next month and get checked out and everything. Get my prescription refilled and make sure my A1C is okay and all that stuff. And probably kind of rule out the thing with pre-diabetes or diabetes. I don't think I got that stuff. I don't feel like an excessively sweating or thirsty or whatever, or tingling in my hands and arms, feet. A lot of the things that diabetics have, but it's possible. But anyway, to get away from all that, I'm not trying to be a downer to anybody, but um, my mom, she is like almost 80 years old, y'all, and she smoked all her life, pretty much all her life, except for about almost a decade she didn't smoke, and she's still going, and I mean, she's got pain, she's got stuff, she's got this thing in her back and everything that kind of helps with the pain and all that, but health wise and all that stuff and everything, and just achy and hurty, yeah, she gets that, but health wise and everything, as far as lung cancer, whatever, my mom is like, if you looked at her, you would think, golly, she's 80 years old almost. She don't look 80. She don't look 80. She don't act 80. So, I don't know. I'm not really into songs. Probably a Bible hymn song. I don't know, something like that. Hello to whoever I haven't said hello to. But anyway, I kind of wish sometimes that I can kind of be just as healthy as my mom, as far as some things are concerned. Because I mean, she's achy. It's hard for her to get around at times, but she does. She's very youthful for her age, even though she's got a lot of pain and things and situations. But she manages to get by pretty good. And all the operations she's had and stuff like that, um, not really extensive operations, but achy stuff like her toe or whatever, kind of not doing right or whatever, her back or whatever, this, that, and the other. Health wise, she's pretty good, but as far as physical capabilities and stuff, she gets kind of achy. So I hope and pray that I live like my mom has, as far as, because one, naturally I don't smoke. That's not my thing. So, hello, Selena, Alicia, how you? But anyway, to the point, my niches. Okay, so here we are, almost 7.5 minutes in talking about niches, and now we're finally talking about niches. Okay. So anyway, as you know, it was pretty chilly this past month so far, and I don't know if any of you go on Amazon. What? Cleaning my screen from cringe, scrolling past faster than light to avoid this. Well, there's always other places to go, I suppose, if you don't want to be here. But anyway, what I was saying is, uh, as you know, it's pretty cold, and like the other day, it was warm here. It was warm. It felt good. It felt nice. I was sweating. I went walking in the park and everything, and I got home and I was just sweaty. But yesterday, it got chilly. Well, especially in the evening time, it got chilly. Wind started blowing and stuff like that. It got down to 36, 37 degrees. It was the wind made it cold. So the previous night I'm at work and everything, I'm turning on the AC because it's hot in there. And then last night I'm turning on the heater again. But anyway, what I had done is I left some earmuffs over there at work and everything for the ladies who might need them or want them and everything, and they kind of seem like they, would want them or whatever, but I'm not sure how all that's going to work out. I've given many, 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 many pairs of earmuffs to people before. Furry ones, work tunes, hearing protectors here at Waffle House, stuff like that. People through the mail. And it seems like I had more money back then than I do now. So, but especially when I find that somebody likes that kind of thing and they're into it, like I am, I kind of go out of my way to make sure they get a pair or whatever, stuff like that. So anyway, I was looking on Amazon a couple weeks ago and I came across these, oh, that's a sticker. What are we doing? Came across these earmuffs and everything. These Wow, that's cool. These are Brook and Bay, and now they just recently got these. These are the ones that slide. Whoa, dude. Somebody drove over here like a bat out of hell. Surprised he ain't got no freaking wreck. The law might be chasing him. Stand by 1 second, y'all. I mean, the dude was weaving in and out of traffic like he was lost his freaking mind. He was in a small kind of looking Kia Fiat or something. Probably hiding from the law. I thought I heard a siren. Guess not. But anyway, so I got these off of Amazon. And this is Brook and Bay. Okay. So these are very nice, very luxurious type of earmuffs. But the thing of it is, they're like $8 or $9 on Brook and Bay. I think they're $89, 8 or 9, not 89, $8 or $9 on Brook and Bay, and they're really comfortable. And they got a little part right here that goes against your ear, and you got the furry part. All this is faux fur, by the way. It's faux fur. So, and they feel really nice. But I had just recently in the last year or two started getting Brook and Bay. So what I've done is I've taken my headphones, my earmuffs, and my hearing protectors, and I've I bought some of these, but not these particular, not these because they didn't have them out. And I bought the ones that had a regular headband, and I started getting those. And I must have got like several sets with the past year and a half, 2 years almost. And I got them and everything, and I took the earmuff things off of them, and I put them on my hearing protectors, and I kind of made a hole here, and I kind of made like a little C part to it. The first time I started doing that is I made a hole so the ear would go in the hole, but I found out that sometimes it depends on how you line the hole up. So when you take these things off and put them on the hearing protector, you got to take it off and you got to flip it around the other side, and you got to make sure the hole's lined up here and the hole's lined up there, and you cut your little C part in, and that to make sure it lines up with your hearing protector or whatever or headphones. So like if you don't want to do that, you can take there have been some people I've seen them on there, and I kind of almost think they stole the idea from me, but no, they didn't. There are people who think the same way at times. So what they do is they take the whole earmuff off and they put it on their headphones. But I don't like the part. I like the fuzzy feeling against my ear. I have to say that, especially when I put them on my headphones before sleeping and stuff. But anyway, sometimes I don't like it pushing on my ear like that. I like for my ear to kind of be into something and have a little bit of that right there in the furry feeling kind of right by there, but not on this part, because when you got it pushing here on this part of your ear, it starts to hurt. After a while, it hurt. You know, it's like anybody can know that when you wear headphones. You wear headphones for a long time, and that if you had on the ear headphones, and when it starts pushing on that cartilage, eventually your ears get sore. But if you have over the ears or circumaural, you got a space there. You know what I mean? You got some space. You got a void. You got an emptiness there, and that way it's not pushing against your ears. So what I do with these, well, not with these, because like I said, these are just adjustable, and I'm not going to take the furry ones off of these, but I'll do it with the other ones. And so, anyway, here's another set that I kind of work with and play around with, and I think they're the same thing. Looking at them, I think they're the actual same thing, but Suhine, so it's Suhine, Suhine, and they look like the same thing. They look like Brook and Bay, the regular Brook and Bay with the headband and stuff, and you can see it right here. They look almost like the same thing. I wish I had the other set. I can compare them. But this one, they kind of do glitter a little bit, the faux fur. And these are 100% polyester faux fur, and so are these. But anyway, kind of wonder why they rolling up on me like that. So both of them are faux fur. Both of them are polyester, 100% polyester. Last night, I made sure to wear a pair of these because it was chilly out there. I mean, it wasn't like cold freezing, but it was chilly enough to wear a jacket. I wore my light jacket. But anyway, I take what I've been doing is taking earmuffs like this. There are some that you can buy there. You can get like 16, about 16. They're red, they're blue, and they're black. Kind of like a maroon red and a dark kind of blue hue, blue whatever. And they're almost kind of halfway between navy and whatever. And then you got a black pair. This is one of them. So what I've done was I bought the whole thing for like 17 bucks. And so I've taken a set and I've put them on this. I bought this headset a week or two ago, and it's called HCM Safety. Because I had another set that were pretty deep ear cups, and a Optime 101, and I got an Optime 105 filter, 3M filter. And what I did was I gave the 101s away to somebody. I forgot who I gave them to. But at the same time, I wanted another set that had like a square kind of like this right here. That way the furry muff thing will stay on there a little bit better. I don't know if they will or not, but maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'm not sure. But anyway, I did the same thing. With on these right here, they were easy to take off. Now this headset itself, the hearing protector, it was pretty cheap, but it seems to be pretty good shape, pretty robust and everything. And I'm kind of waiting until I give more information about it and everything to the seller and all that. And I asked them if they're like, hey, if you want to send me some more, that'd be great. So I can make people these and everything. I can, if somebody wants some, if somebody wants a pair, then I can take the earmuffs, whether they're red or green, red or blue or black, and I can make some for somebody, and they can have them for next season and everything. Or where maybe they live in a state that's way up there, that even though it's April or whatever, March or April, it hasn't warmed up yet. So I can make something for somebody if they want them and send them to them and everything. So it's a real easy procedure. You just take the little earmuff thing off of this, like it's off of this one right here, off to the Suhine, as Suhine, Suhine. If you look on Amazon, Suhine. So what you do is you just take it off, take that off, peel it off and everything. And these might be the same thing. Yeah. This one right here has like a silky back. The other one has like more of a cotton kind of back. Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe these are the same thing. They're just different brands on them. Yeah. But I think the regular ones have they're more velvety. But I'm telling you, man, these things, they feel very nice. I mean, on my ears, in my hands, it's just so soft and plush, and just. If you haven't got any, if you haven't bought any earmuffs from Brook and Bay, I think you should go to Amazon and check them out. I got 4 more coming on the way. I had a pair of brown ones because I just wanted to kind of keep them and everything in case I wanted to do some like building something like this right here. Building, but you know what I mean. I mean, so I guess that might be a weird niche to some people. That kind of, I'm in that weird group of people that do that, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm out here telling you all about it before, I'm not out here doing it in secret and whatever and being some kind of weirdo about it and everything. So I'm letting people know what I do up front and everything. And it could be, like I said, it could be weird to some, and maybe it isn't, maybe it isn't, maybe it's not, maybe it is, rather. I can't get it out. But anyway, these are really nice earmuffs. And see, you got how these right here particularly, you can just adjust them to go over your ears. And see like that? Whereas before you couldn't do that, now you can. And they're so inexpensive, and they're really good quality. For something to be this inexpensive, wow. I mean, that's why I bought so many of them. But anyway, that's my, I used the other one, the Suhan ones, to put on these right here, because I had several sets. And you can see how deep it is, how deep your ear go on there. So what I did was I made like a C-section cut, and I take the flap and I fold it in. So this part right here would go in the front, and the same with this one right here. This part right here would go in the front. That's how you know is you're facing front, because the fur that kind of goes against this part of your ear, and it kind of imitates the part of your ear here. It's like you take your ear and fold it over. It's the same thing in this. So whenever you cut like a little C part of it in there, you're taking it and folding it over. So whenever I do that kind of thing, I got to kind of watch what I'm doing, make sure whenever I put the ear cuts back on that they're facing on the inside, and facing both of them facing the same direction. That way, when you put them on, the folded in flap is not on the back of your ear; it's on the front of your ear, and it's just really comfortable. So, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to, where I live. I live in Tennessee. Not saying I want to live here, but I do. I live in Tennessee. And right now, I can feel the inside of those. See how deep my fingers are going? That's how deep your ears go in these things. So they're really comfortable. And with these right here, these particular pair of HCM safety hearing protectors, you can find these on Amazon too. They come on Amazon, and they're really inexpensive. And so what I did with these, these things right here were easy to come off. They weren't hard like 3M Peltor or whatever. Oh my gosh, they were a pain in the butt, especially on the 105s. Now the 101s on down, and the other things that 3M Peltor and 3M make and everything, they're easy to get off. But when it comes to the 105s or this type of earmuff, the something that's similar to another idiot, something that's similar to Peltor, 3M Peltor 105, 3M Peltor Optime 105, something similar. That you got like a bullseye or something like that. I think it's called a blue one. And then you got other ones that are really easy, like the X series, the black ones like X5A, X3A, 2A, 1A, whatever. They're really easy. They're not hard at all, to adjust or whatever. But these right here, they're really easy to get on here and everything. The HCM safety hearing protectors. And so I find that it's better to. I haven't tried other ones, but these. The Suhans, to get them for like $17 in a box, you get like 16 to get 16 in a box for like 17 some odd dollars plus tax plus shipping, of course. It's pretty. I think it's a pretty fair price. And I mean, you can wait for it to come, or you can have it expedited, hurried up and get the shipping, pay for extra days to get there. But I usually get them quick. I just want to get them quick, and so I mean, but you can wait. And so that's what I do. I will go ahead and get them and everything quick as I can. And then when I get them and everything, I kind of hold on to them. And I kind of, so if I want to say like somebody wants a pair or whatever, I can, I'll kind of, get them ready or whatever or something like that. But it's usually me doing videos like this right here, or doing something on Instagram, or maybe even working with somebody that say, hey, I like those. I'd like to have me a set. And I'm like, okay, well, hey, I can hook you up. I got the material, I can do that for you. But right now, when it's supposed to be warming up, it's not warming up like we think it is, because it's still right now, it's a little bit chilly. Not very much though. But when it does actually warm up, still you can still wear them. Shoot, you can go into bed and wear them. That's what I do. I wear mine in the bed. Now these other ones right here, I just replaced these last night. I replaced the earmuffs. I took the ones Brook and Bay. I had an extra set, and the ones that I had on here were kind of matted and everything and all that and the other. I have another pair called a Pro here, and they're kind of like kind of they've been on there for a while. They look like the other ones I had, and so I just decided to go ahead and just replace these on here and everything. But I'm keeping the ones that were on there already. And what I'm gonna probably do is wash them up, and I'm gonna keep them and everything. So, but the other ones on my Pro here, I'm probably do the same with those. But they're a little bit more difficult to get off because with the headband, I can't pop them off of the sides right here and everything, like I do with the 3M Pelters or that other one over there, like this one right here. I can't do it like that because if I do that, it'll end up breaking that little stud thing. Because that's what happened to me before when I tried that. I'm like, I ain't doing it again. So what I do is I pull the little rod things out of the little clips and everything, and I just kind of fold them out and pull them off that way. But I don't always like messing. I don't like really messing with the clips too much because it gets too loose sometimes. I don't want them too loose. But thankfully the pressure of the rods pushed them against my ears. That way they don't go sliding and go all crazy and stuff until I take them off. And I would show you, but I got people kind of looking in this direction. I don't want to look doofy. I don't really care, but still. But anyway, what I'm saying is like this right here. See how that slides up and down? The more you pull that out of that thing, that's what I had to do with these last night because they were sometimes these 3M Pelters, they're really hard to get back on there if they got a lot of fuzz and stuff in the way, like in this situation. So what I had to do is I had to take all that off, and then I had to push them back on there because these particular ones are like I said earlier, they're hard to get back on. So I had to do all that, and then I had to take them and kind of pull them across here. But eventually I got them on. It didn't take that long at all, really. And these are pretty deep too, and everything. But they're not as deep as the HCM safety ones, or the 101s. They're a little bit more shallow, but still they're really comfortable on the ears. And they got like a foam piece in there, and that foam is like, let me show you how deep it is. I can pull it out. Okay. So that's that foam that goes in there. That's the dampening foam right there. That's what cuts down the sound levels and stuff. So it's pretty thick. So you can imagine putting your finger in there now. The finger goes way in there. See that? So you got that much of your finger going into the earmuff. So when you put this back in, and you line it back in there like that, you got that much room. You got a little, around about half as much of space. That's how far you got for your ear and everything. So your ear kind of might go take up that much room, and you got that much room. So you got some space in there. But when you got that fur around all that stuff, it kind of crowds a bit and everything. But it feels real comfortable too. It feels real nice on the ears and stuff. And if you're like me, I don't know a lot of people out there like me, and you're not weird, you're not messed up in the head. You get the kind of you like that pressure, you like that feeling against your ears, you like the reduction in sound and everything. And it's not like I got like autism or whatever. I don't know what I got. Autistically divergent, how do I say that? But I like the pressure against my ears. I like the feeling. I like the scare. And some people out there, like children and stuff. I was talking about my girlfriend's kids the other day, and how she couldn't sleep and everything. And it's the same situation now. I think with a lot of kids. Some kids got to have like they have a for autism and stuff. They give them earmuffs and stuff like that. And some of them go for the furry ones too. And I've had a couple of kids out here in the parking lot. I got to talking to the parents. I got to know the parents and everything. And I've given bags of earmuffs to some of the cooks in here and everything, to their kids and stuff. And they's like, man, she loves it. She just loves that feeling on her ears. She sleeps so well now. So hey, that's great. I'm glad I could have been a part of it, and everything. So the people, most of them I've talked to around here, they're really appreciative of that and everything, having something over their ears for their kids so they can kind of. And I watched this study. I didn't really watch it. I looked at it and kind of observed it. It says that children who were able to kind of block out sound have something to do with, kind of focusing, concentrating by wearing hearing protectors or earmuffs. Not something like, that's going to be like these right here that blocks out a lot of sound, like 30 some odd decibels. It might just do a little bit less because it's got a furry stuff on it. Not something like that so much, but something like furry earmuffs even. Those two, but like even with furry earmuffs where they kind of block out just a little bit of noise, that kind of cushioning over the ears and stuff, that some of that stimulation is weighing down. They said that some of those kids did better on like concentrating and focusing than those who didn't, that had noise constantly in their ears and stuff, and you couldn't focus or concentrate. It seems that hearing protectors, or in this case, even earmuffs, furry earmuffs, for like warmth and stuff, because that's what really earmuffs are. Earmuffs, as in furry ones, are really actually ear warmers. They keep your ears warm. And then you got ear muffs that are actually, they muffle out sound. And then of course you got headphones. So you got ear warmers, ear muffs, headphones. And what I do, like the one I got at home, I combine all three. I combine ear warmers, ear muffs, headphones. So I got 3 in 1. And right here I got 2 in 1. I got hearing protectors and warm ear muffs at the same time. So they're pretty neat to have, and everything. They're pretty cool. Here lately I've been, if you see on my channel here, I've been looking at a certain type of headphones, what they used to look like in the past and everything and all that and the other, and how and why they used them in game shows. So I found that it was the same thing. It was to audio to first help the other team. It's to help them, not that they would cheat or whatever, but to help them not hear the answers of other people and stuff like that, to kind of make it all fair, because you want to win right, you want to win fair or whatever and everything. And I think that's what a lot of these game shows did. They took that into consideration, or they used the headphones for communication and everything, like Tattletales, stuff like that. And then the one before that was He Said, She Said. And that was like the forerunner of Tattletales and stuff like that, from the 69 to 70. And then they came out with Tattletales. They were just sitting there in a like behind the scenes in a booth, and they were communicating. They heard what the announcer said, so they were hearing, and they wore headphones, and that wasn't anything to do with them, trying to win or something or whatever. It was just celebrities blabbing around, whatever, or couples. But the one I really enjoyed the most, I think, the one that kind of set the motion or whatever, it was Mr. and Mrs. I think there was something called something before that, but it was I think it developed in Canada, and they were called Mr. and Mrs. And there was like a love kind of game kind of thing, where the couples came together, and they went to this the dude and everything, and so they talked about themselves whenever they first were introduced and all that and other, and what the other probably liked and they liked or whatever. And then one was sequestered to a booth. The assistant would come, sit them down in the booth, put headphones over the ears and everything so they couldn't hear the answers of the husband or the wife. And I don't know, I just kind of felt that was like, wow, that's pretty cool, you know. And I couldn't find a whole lot of those. I found some later ones, and I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the old ones. That's that dumbass again, driving like a bat out of hell. Got a mind to go over there and tell him to slow his ass down. I'm looking in the rear mirror now. But anyway, I found that I don't know. I don't know why. I just got so interested in it and everything. I was just trying to find videos and stuff, kind of regarding all that stuff. And I found several of them. And then there's also called a Saint A Sound or whatever it is, some Welsh one and everything. And so it was mostly in that point where they were. And even before that, in the 1950s, I think in the 50s, they had booths. 55, that's when they actually really started doing that. They would have people stand in booths giving answers and stuff, wearing headphones and everything. So right when all the headphone craze was coming out, right when Koss was developing things, right when the war effort was coming out, you know, right after the war, after World War II, a little before Korea, you know, all that stuff, the Korean War. Way before the Vietnam War, they were developing these things, Koss and Biodynamic and all the other ones. These headphones were coming out and everything, you know, they were starting to develop and kind of going from the on the ears to over the ears, you know what I mean? So that's pretty awesome. I don't know what it is. I guess something I like and enjoy is a niche. But anyway, to me, it was fascinating, and it still is. And everything, and how they kind of bring that comfort and everything. I've like I said on the other video, I've had that kind of thing going on with me since I was a kid. You know, I just like soft, fuzzy things. I don't know why or how, but it just is weird how that happened like that. And at 8 years old, I believe. And what really started it all for me is my stepdad. I think that's what started it. I could have already been there. He comes to me. We're going to the mall over there in Sumter, South Carolina. They call it the Jasmine Mall at the time, and I think it was a mall. And he said, "Hey, come here, sport. Listen to this." And I wasn't really interested in his music. But I remember it was some headphones. I think they were Koss K6L, something like that. And they had like a little push up and down brown dial on there. You can push the volume up and down and everything. I remember he slapped those things on my ears. I didn't even have a chance to even think. And I remember hearing something about Hotel California. I'm like, okay. And I took them off, but before I took them off, I remember something about sitting there with him for just a minute. And he says, "You done?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And so he got them back off my ears, and he started listening to them again. He said, "You like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool." I can't remember exactly what I said, because it was a long time ago. It was 46 years ago. So, I mean, and I'm 54, so, you know, do the math. And I think one time, not long after that, we were going to do something, and we went to Sumter. We lived in Manning, but we went to Sumter, and my mom and her husband, my stepdad, he was just a young kid. He was a punk kid. That's what he was. They took us to his aunt's house, and not his aunt's house, but his aunt's store, and she had like a thrift store, and she had a bunch of clothes all piled up and had toys everywhere and stuff like that, little plate things and all that. You know, and I'm like, wow, man, this is cool. And she goes, "Oh, find something you like, you can have it." And she was just so nice. She's a very nice lady. And so I was going across, and I found this Buck Rogers toy, and I remember it to the day, pretty much, but not kind of exactly what it looked like. But I remember getting it. It was like kind of chrome-like, and it faded off a good bit. The chrome did. And so I remember that. And then I found these steel headband blue wool earmuffs, and they were pretty nice, pretty soft, and everything. And I kind of showed her a little bit and everything. My sister found a baby doll or something, I think. But what I would do is I didn't really want people to know I really liked them so much, so I kind of hid them in a way, and my aunt kept us and everything. And if you ever see my aunt, if I think I put her on here several times, doing YouTubes, I might have not have. But anyway, she's staying with my mom now, and so she wasn't really my aunt. She was kind of like my step aunt in a way, because my step uncle, that was his wife, and their kids, his kids, her kids were his step kids. So there you go. But anyway, she would keep us, she would babysit us and everything, and so I would go and I would have them like around my waist or whatever. I kind of like the way they feel against my ears, and if it felt against my ears, I kind of hide them, and I would go out and just put them over my ears and wear them for whatever reason. I just like the way they felt over my ears. And I wish I could find another pair like them. I got pairs that I like them, but they're not blue. I got old ones, I got vintage ones, but they're not blue. But anyway, that kind of started something with me, and from that point, we went to a friend's house one time, and their daughter had a pair that were broken, and they were like fuzzy all over, a headband too. And I told her I can fix them, and she goes, "No, you can have them." I'm like, okay. So I don't know whatever happened to them. I don't know if my mom done something with them or what, or I lost them, or the blue ones. But anyway, it just kind of, as I got older, there was this store called B Mart, and I would go there just about every year after I learned after I was driving and stuff, or riding around on my bicycle up from my grandma's house. I would go to the store and just to buy some every year. They were acrylic. They weren't like the ones that I had before with the metal headband. But I'd buy several pair, and I'd give them to people, and I'd give them my aunt or whatever, and I'd keep a pair for myself. I just like the way they feel. Sometimes I would go out hunting in them and everything, green ones, they felt good on my ears, and they kept my ears warm. And, sometimes things happened. And I think the most I remember about those type of earmuffs is because, unfortunately, and I'm not laughing at the person, but I was going home, and I was going past a lady who was wearing them over her ears, and her window was like rolled up really high. I mean, it was rolled up all the way, and the music was going. And I recognized her because she was a substitute teacher one time of mine. And so I'm going down the road and everything, and I kind of take a right, and I see her and everything, and she's boom, 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 boom. And she's got sunglasses on, she's got the earmuffs on, she's got her black turtleneck on. And this is the second wreck I've ever saw in my life. I've seen one when I worked at the gas station. I've seen the truck hit a car and just roll off to a ditch and everything. I don't know. And it hit the car so hard and everything, it flipped it. The car was like spinning on its top. And the truck went off into the ditch, and they called it 911. But this one right here, though, it was worse. Yeah, but anything, that goes to show wearing earmuffs and everything, and not paying attention to things. So sometimes I put those on and everything, but I'm still trying to pay attention. But she had the music just going in her car, this lady did, and sunglasses and turtleneck and earmuffs over her ears. And so next thing I know, and I look in my rearview mirror, bam, somebody hits her, and she's spinning around, and she hits the that little thing that holds up a power line or whatever, the little cable. I'm like, whoa, and I go back over there and I check on her. I forgot what her name was. I called her by her last name because she was a substitute. And I go to push her. I was like, man, you okay? And by the time I did, her bone, like, oh my gosh. She goes, oh. She was like way out of it. Her earmuffs had fallen off and everything onto the side of the car. And I'm like, whoa, that's bad. and the other lady had she was a Mexican lady in like a Suburban, Chevy Suburban, and had a little kid in it. Thankfully, they were okay. But the other woman, the substitute teacher, she was broken up pretty bad, and so they called the police and everything. Well, actually, that's the third one because there's another one that somebody got hit and everything, and they flipped on top and everything, and uh, we had to try to help them out of the car. They were an older couple, so that's about 3 wrecks I saw in my life. So it really wasn't nothing I would enjoy to see again. But anyway, sometimes having that kind of comfort kind of gets you distracted and things. So like right now, I probably wouldn't wear these in town because even though they feel real good on the ears, they might be a little hot too. Right now, they wouldn't be hot, but I probably wouldn't wear them because too distracted. And a lot of people around here go crazy, drive crazy. Now, if I'm on the back road or something, there's not a lot of traffic, I probably would wear them. But they're really comfortable, you know. And but like I said, you can get these on. You can get these at Broken Bay. Tough Outfitters are the one that sells them. I think Tough Outfitters is the one that makes them, but Broken Bay is the one that sells them or something like that. They got a Broken Bay label rather. See B&B, and then you got the Suhan ones, and I think really somewhat they're the same thing, but they just got different labels and stuff on them. Like this one's got Broken Bay, this one don't. And so this is a different one anyway. Trying to feel the top of the headband to see if they're the same. But on the inside, I think they're the same thing. But me personally, I really enjoy the hearing protectors with the muffs on them because one, they help me sleep good. Two, when it's cold, my ears are warm, and they keep a certain nice little pressure. Now with these new ones like this right here, they kind of got to get broke in. But at the same time, that's why I kept my other ones. In the case I don't like them, and I think they're a little too thick, or whatever. And I might want to switch them out. But in most cases, I probably won't anyway because that's what I had to do with the other ones. I had to get them broke in. I had to get used to them. But anyway, I don't know. It's I mean, people can make out whatever they want to about it, and whatever. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care. I'm tired of hiding it. I've been hiding it for years and everything. I've been kind of gently letting it out. That's not something that they kind of. I deal with it in my certain way with it at times. It kind of gets me to a point. Having all that stuff right there that kind of just does something to me, and where I like, okay, I got to back off, got to get out of it, leave it alone for a while because it just, or it's not that so much. It's just kind of how my mind goes with things, how it applies certain things with those and everything. And so, I mean, I try to make it more about comfort and sleeping and warmth and just generally focusing and concentrating and things like that. And not that it would be about anything else. And I'm not going to tell you what anything else is. Some people get into them and everything, and they use them for other things, for other needs that they have. I think it would be great, me personally, if those right there, those things right here, you and your wife would do the same thing, especially, or your husband. If you both are interested in things like that, if you both have a niche for it, or something that's, let's just say, whether it's sexual or what have you, that both of you have it. Both of you, you don't try to impose it on your wife because you like it, or your wife don't try to impose it on you because she likes it. It's just something you both have and you kind of desire. Like with me, I like seeing women wearing earmuffs. I ain't gonna lie. That's not a story with me. I probably said on here before. I don't mind saying that, but I'm not going to push it to a point where I'm invading somebody else's privacy or whatever. Because I mean, I like particularly, I remember back in the 80s and 90s, I love seeing women wearing earmuffs like that. I love seeing, like the ladies back whenever they had pixie cuts and stuff like that wearing earmuffs. It was just so attractive, especially when they had the feathered blonde hair. It was just really attractive and everything. And the soft fur and against that hair was really nice. But I'm not going to push it to a point where I try to weird people out. I have done that unintentionally at times, giving people those things. And some people just take it and go. They don't say anything, which I don't care. That's the way they want to act. Fine, it'll be on them. I was just trying to be nice. I was trying to be helpful. But other times I like seeing it on women, but I kind of try to know my spot, know my, my limitations. Like girls in here, sometimes I can joke with them. They can joke back and everything, and they don't take it that way. They're like, oh wow, thank you for these, and they're like, oh, I can. Me and my husband might like these or something like that. So you got an extra pair. I don't go out there if I know that. That's why I ask first. I'm like, and you married, ain't you? Or I kind of get into it, seeing how kind of see if they're married by kind of giving them cues to kind of let me know that they're married or whatever. And then if I find out they are, I really don't push it as much unless they ask me. Like this other lady in here, I give her a whole freaking bag full, pretty much. But he's like, well, she don't need all that. You can have a bag. And you're like, oh, okay, no problem. He wasn't offended by it. She just didn't know what to do with him and everything. But her daughter, oh my gosh, she loves him. But anyway, just kind of know the limitations, knowing when to stop, knowing when I can, kind of, you know, it doesn't become weird or awkward for somebody else. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So it's just I'm not going out here trying to live out a lustful kind of what you might say is a lustful fetish. Yeah, there you go. That's the word, fetish, on somebody. I'm just trying to take what I like and what I like for myself and kind of divert that, and change it around, and be helpful to somebody. Who might like to have it for the isolation, who might like to have it for the warmth and or maybe sleeping like I do, whatever else. Who's just as much into it as I am. Or maybe something other they can use for they have. Maybe they can use it for helping their relationship out with their spouse or whatever, and maybe something kinky for them. But that would be within the lines of a husband and wife or a couple. Not that's it. And so if you're worried about like, well, what about no, it ain't about that. It ain't nothing about that. You like seeing kids? No, I don't. I don't like seeing children looking at like that. And I mean, if they do, fine. If they want a pair from me, if they find that I have a set and everything, and they ask, like I've given, with the mother's permission, I've had spare ones, and I was like, hey, you would like a pair of these? Like, I make sure their mother knew. But I don't get off on that. You know what I mean? I don't. There's nothing pleasurable about that. So, just in case somebody would suggest that or think that, no, But I mean, I would ask their parents first, and they can have a pair of these if you want. Oh well, they would love them. And I've had someone come back to me. She fell asleep in those things. She loved them so much. Like, oh, great, you know. So I mean, it's not a big deal to me. It's not a thing where I get off sexually on that kind of thing, like I'm some kind of freaking deviant or something. Um, I do like I said, I like seeing women wearing them. That's no lie. That's no doubt. But at the same time, too, women, and I like wearing them for myself. But I'm not going to go chasing them around and everything unless I feel that maybe they don't mind, to asking me or kind of give me an indication that they're interested. Maybe they forgot to ask about it. Like, oh, you still got these. If you want, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Sure, thank you. I love them so much. They're so nice. But like I said, I've had some people they take them when they're going, and they kind of give me that little snarky like up yours kind of thing, And some people I try to be nice to. They're like so nice to me. Like the girl from work the other day. I was talking about it the other day when I was walking. Um, I brought some over because last week, not this past week, but last week it was really chilly, and I brought some over and everything. And I was like, hey, it's pretty chilly out there. You can have pretties warm and everything. I put them over here. She goes, oh, thank you. So, something like that. But the next day, the next day, the next day, she didn't say a word to me. I said goodbye, I said hello and everything else, hello, goodbye, whatever. She didn't say a word to me. Not a thing. I was like, okay, what did I do? Did I creep her out? Here she is like this early 20s young woman, and she's got a daughter and everything. She's got a boyfriend. And I was just putting those there just for them, and there was another person too. She was a supervisor. So, I put them there for her and the supervisor in case they wanted them. I didn't like, oh, here's a pair of earmuffs for you. I just set them on the thing and said, y'all can use these if you want, if y'all can have them. And she says, oh, thank you. So I didn't directly give them to her. See what I'm saying? I just put them there. I put them there for an option. But then 2 or 3 days later, she didn't say a word to me. Didn't say a word. And then up until the other day, I told her I kind of closed down parts of the computer because she left her email up. Oh, she goes, yeah, I wasn't thinking about it. Oh, she finally talked to me. And I said I had to close it down because I had to reset the camera and everything. And I thought I had to go all the way in it. And I thought she was being a smartass when she said it, but she goes, I said, all the thing I had to do is hit the reset. Yeah, the reset button. That's all you got to do. She was being a bit of a smartass, I thought, but I didn't. Maybe she was just kind of agreeing. Yeah, I made the same mistake, kind of way, but she didn't say that. But anyway, I don't give earmuffs out or whatever to get personal favors or whatever. I mean, if somebody takes a picture or whatever and sends it to me, and some people have, that's great, that's fine. But I don't get it to like sit there and kind of go crazy with doing something that maybe I shouldn't be doing personally. But anyway, if you want to take a look at Amazon.com, and of course, and look for Suhan and look for Brook and Bay, and you'll find these earmuffs there. And they're really nice, really cozy, really warm. They are warm. And I'm telling you, I mean, 100% polyester, that's warm. All right, because I have had a couple of times where I had my head stuck on those things. I've had my head stuck in these things right here. And whenever I take my head out, I tell you, if I'm getting in my truck and it's cold, all I got to do is stick my hand right there. I'll have an automatic hand warmer. I mean, it's getting warm right now. Because usually whenever I take them off or something or whatever, I'm doing something, I take them off, it holds the heat that left my head inside for a while. So usually I'm like, wow, I'm like right now they're a little bit warm just from that little bit of heat. But they don't fry your ears. See what I'm saying? They don't burn your ears up. Neither do these. The Suhan or the Brook and Bay. That's what these are. They don't burn your ears up. They don't fry your ears off your head. They only keep your ears warm long enough to warm them up. But I'm supposing if you're out in the heat or whatever, and they can be, it's like, in a way, maybe like sheepskin wool or lambskin or whatever. That's the same thing they do. And I was trying to find more that are like that, maybe lambskin or whatever. But of course, you got to kill lambs to have lambskin earmuffs. Now, the sheepskin wool, the more adult it is, the older it is, the more cuddly, the more clumpy it gets. Well, just stop already, jeez. The more clumpy it gets. But anyway, with those right there, they seem to be that they hold in the heat pretty good because they're faux fur. They're fake fur, but they're 100% polyester. So they keep your ears warm. Where sheepskin does the same thing, and probably sheepskin is a lot better, especially untreated sheepskin, because the lanolin in the sheepskin keeps your ears nice and cozy and everything. If you got cuts on your body, if you got sores or whatever, the like medical sheepskin. The reason why it's medical sheepskin is because it has lanolin in it. So anything with lanolin in it, especially if you're wearing the earmuffs or whatever, the sheepskin, You get cuts on your ears, like if your earrings, you ladies out there to get sores on your ears from your earrings, the younger ladies too, wearing that will probably help your ears heal up quicker because it has lanolin. Or you can get lanolin from your pharmacy too. But anyway, I think I've talked way more than I wanted to. So anyway, again, you can go to Amazon and see where these are. These earmuffs called Broken Bay and Suhine, Suhine. You can get like packs of them. They're, the most expensive one is all the colors, probably like 18 of them. It's like $43. But the other one that is blue, red, and black, which I'm probably gonna buy that, and then get some hearing protectors, and just in case somebody wants some, and I'll put them on the next video maybe, or another video, and I'm buy some of those. I'm probably gonna buy that last box, so you might not be able to get it because I'm gonna get it. All right, yeah. Well, I'm gonna get off here, and yeah, take care, and God bless. We'll see you later. I hope this kind of fills in some blanks about things, and so because I'm weird about a lot of things, but I have limitations that I got abide by. You know, I have inhibitions like anybody else, sure, yeah, but I have limitations too, and I don't go too far outside the box if I can. So if somebody thinks it's weird about that collection or whatever else, I might agree with you, but there are people who do a lot more weirder things than me. Some people are into poop, some people are into pee, and not me. All right, take care, God bless.